of videos went viral on TikTok recently about a creator, Monica's experience at Van Cleef & Arpels. Basically, she had bought a 5-motif yellow gold Alhambra bracelet, right? It's the one with the guilloche or whatever that, you know, with the lines and all of that. She bought that, and about 2 months after she'd purchased it, one of the motifs had started to tarnish. How Van Cleef dealt with this has been quite shocking. So, I thought that we would go through the story, talk about the ways in which Van Cleef maybe should have dealt with this, and how this affects people's perceptions of the brand and where people shop and all of that, and its effects on luxury jewelry brands as well as luxury brands in general. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I pack videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably gonna love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. I am going to link Monica's account and the first video that started this series, then you can sort of find the others from there, below, because I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty, and there's a lot more than I will be sort of mentioning this in this video, but I'm just going to go over the highlights, okay? She's got a great account in general. You might want to give her a follow. But, as I mentioned, this is a 5-motif yellow gold Alhambra bracelet. This retails for $6,150, £5,600. No matter what cost of item you buy from these luxury brands, there shouldn't be issues like the one that I'm going to go through today. But let's just keep in mind that this is a lot of money in general. Okay, great. So if you look at any of the comments on Van Cleef's posts on Instagram, they are absolutely being bombarded by comments about the tarnishing and just like, does this tarnish on day 29 or 30 or 31 of purchase? Like every single one of their recent posts is about the tarnishing. And this just sort of shows you the level at which this has gone viral and how this impacts consumers in the future. I did notice a few comments of people saying like, oh, this is something that happens over time, blah, blah, blah. This is what happens with gold and all of this business. Listen, based on personal experience, that has never happened to me. That has never happened to anybody I sort of know or family members or whoever who have yellow gold bracelets from any of these big luxury jewelry brands, right? Your Cartier, your Tiffany, your Van Cleef, all of that. I've personally never heard of this issue happening. My initial reaction is, obviously there's a fault, something like that. These things happen. Okay? But I don't think going, oh, this is something that happens and wear and tear or whatever is the answer here. I think that it was obvious from the get-go, we've got a bit of an issue. So she takes it back into the Van Cleef store and they send it away to go get cleaned or polished, right? Already that's a little bit of an inconvenience. You got to wait for it. These things always take much longer than you would expect. It's never a couple of days. It's always like a few weeks, whatever. Okay. The bracelet comes back. It's in the same condition as it was when it went away, right? We've still got the tarnishing. This is obvious. Here is where things go from bad to worse. Not only when it comes back does the store manager sort of insinuate, she's like, oh, actually it's the reflection of your phone, blah, blah, blah. So already she's trying to cloud Monica / the customer's judgment in this case and say that, oh, it's not a problem, all of that. I also think that it was sort of insinuated that when she put it on the wrist, she was like, are you wearing any perfume or lotions? Because that could have done it. Could it have done it in the mere seconds that it was on the wrist, right? I've got sodding things, I never take these off. Loads of other people with loads of stacks and whatever never take it off and don't have this issue, okay? And it's perfumes and lotions galore. Fine. So that already happened. And then on top of that, she was given 2 options of how to proceed. And that was they send it away for cleaning again, even though we've already done the cleaning and it's already still in this condition. Okay, so what does another cleaning do? Or she pays for that motif to be replaced. So you've already paid your $6,150, and now you're gonna have to cough up more money to get the bracelet in the condition you should have gotten it in the first place. I mean, okay, I'm gonna go through it and then I'm going to go through where the problems lie. So at this point, you would have assumed a few things would have happened. Number one, I didn't even think that it should have gotten to this point, okay? I think if your bracelet is tarnishing after 2 months and you take it in, they should have been like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is not the experience we want for our consumers to have, and this is not the experience that we provide. Let's replace it for you. And by the way, none of this then would have happened. But here we are, we're in this situation, right? And Monica has been documenting her experience on social media, okay? So she puts up this video saying, these are the options I've been given. What do you think? And all of that. And the whole series goes viral. People are really disappointed in the comments of, I can't believe that this is the situation and these are the options that you've been provided with. This is really disappointing customer service. How dare, you know, the store manager have treated you this way to insinuate that, like, it's not a problem, even though it clearly is a problem. And because this video / series went viral, Van Cleef then reached out to her. I believe they had a phone call. She said that they were extremely apologetic, whoever was on the other side of the phone, and basically offered to replace the bracelet, and she declined, right? Because, you know, for her, she was like, I've really got a bad taste in my mouth from this whole experience. I'm not even bothered about it anymore, right? And so Van Cleef then offered her a full refund, even though I think their usual sort of refund window is 30 days, whatever. It was outside of that. Clearly they're, you know, honoring this refund, whatever. And then they offered somebody to come and collect it from her house so she doesn't have to go in store personally to do the returns. Fine. When the person comes to collect the bracelet, Monica is given 2 gifts, one of which is an orchid, and then the other one was this sort of large wrapped item. She unboxes it on camera, and it's a book. And in the book, it sort of documents Van Cleef and how items are made, which sort of seems like a really passive-aggressive gift considering this whole situation, right? And I think it made it worse. I think this would have been worse than if somebody just collected the bracelet, thank you very much, goodbye, end of, right? And listen, a brand that makes this much money, Van Cleef is not doing badly. Van Cleef is doing very well, right? And for them to give an orchid, a nice flower that is, I mean, you know, it's not by any means a sodding koi fish that costs a lot of money. I don't know why koi fish is where my mind went to. Whatever. And a book that costs not very much. I'm not going to lie to you. The only thing that would have rectified this situation would have been if they gave her another Van Cleef item, as in, like, obviously she doesn't want the bracelet, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, if they'd have turned up and given, you know, earrings or whatever and all of this business, then that would have been better. And to be honest with you, that amount means nothing to them. The $6,150 isn't, like, that's not even cost, you know? So think of the amount of money that they make in general, and for this one experience to be rectified would have cost them nothing. Because here lies the issue. This video has gone viral. This experience has now tainted the view of the brand and its products, even if this is an isolated incident, okay? Loads of people I know have bought Van Cleef and have never had this issue. And I'm sure that actually this is a very sort of rare occurrence. And this is maybe actually not even a problem with the brand, but with the store, that particular store, and how they handled it, right? I don't know what the policy is, whatever. But because so many, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have now seen this video, this has tainted those people's views of this brand. And maybe some people who were hoping to buy a piece or whatever, this has stopped them from purchasing from the brand, right? Again, even if this is an isolated incident, the power of social media and the fact that negative experiences stay in our heads much more than positive ones, it literally only takes one bad customer experience to go viral, to have a knock-on effect of people who were going to be potential customers now going to competitors, of which there are many, and we're going to get back to that, right? They could have turned this into a really great customer service experience. First of all, like I said, this shouldn't have, as soon as there was tarnishing and she brought it in, they should have been like, oh my gosh, terrible, this is not how we want you to experience our product, here's a replacement, done. She wouldn't have even made the knock-on videos, or if she did, she would have been like, this is what they've done, brilliant, great, everybody's moved on, everybody's happy. Then she comes in again and she's sort of gaslit and then given 2 options, one of which involves paying more for the item. And again, this is a terrible situation. When it comes to luxury, and I'm going to go into this a little bit further, what happened to the customer is always right. Those are the experiences that stay with you. This is not the same example on any scale, right? But for example, I had a Rimowa case that the corners sort of, part of it broke, okay? I went in, they asked 0 questions. They were like, okay, great. Like, they didn't even really check the warranty or whatever. Basically, I took it in. They were like, we're going to see if we can fix it. If not, we're going to give you a replacement. They said it was going to take a week to sort of figure out if they fixed it. I got a call the next day being like, yeah, this is not fixable. We don't do this color anymore, but please pick any other available color and we will replace it for you. Done. No questions asked, all of that. And whilst is this an issue that should have happened in the first place? No, but they dealt with it in a brilliant way that puts my sort of, I have a positive experience with the brand now. They should have done the same thing. I don't care if you are buying a sodding candle from Van Cleef and there's a fault. I don't care if you are buying a sodding 20 motif, I don't even know if that exists, or sodding pave diamonds, whatever, and, you know, only then do you get this experience. Absolutely not. Because now not only have they deterred Monica from being a repeat client, okay, because of this one instance she had, but a load of other people who have now seen the video. Of course, right? The other thing to keep in mind here is, what if she didn't have a platform? Would this have happened? Would Van Cleef have reached out? Absolutely not, because they wouldn't have seen all the backlash on social media about this issue, okay? And then what would have happened? Would she still have had to sit there with these 2 options of either get it sent off to be cleaned, in which nothing is going to happen, or I keep this faulty bracelet, or I pay to get the bracelet that I actually want, at which point the whole experience is just tainted. Now, here's me even saying that, like, to rectify the situation when she was given the gift, you know, I think that they should have given her a piece of jewellery, you know, as part of that, whether or not she, you know, would have wanted it and all of this business. Well, you know, not if she doesn't want it, but, like, I think that shows more of an apology than a sodding book. But even she sort of expressed that what would have meant more to her would have been an apology from the store manager that made her feel really uncomfortable, and all of that, right? Fair enough, because once again, we are forgetting that the customer is always right. This isn't a situation in which somebody is trying to pull the wool over your eyes and finagle or whatever. Clearly there is an issue here, and it was dealt with really poorly. And then, just as I was downloading things from TikTok to edit for this video, I came across another video by an account, Athletes Nutrition, and she was basically saying how she bought 2 Van Cleef bracelets, and then the next day she was like, actually, I'm really not going to use one of them, saw that there was a 30-day return policy, went to return it, and they said because there were fingerprints on it, because she basically moved it out of one box case and into a travel case, that she had worn it, and because she'd worn it, she couldn't have the refund, okay? That in itself, also, I will have that video linked below as well for you to watch. But these sorts of things, right, because that girl sort of said that the only reason she sort of posted that video was because the other girl posted her video as well, and she was like, well, while we're talking about bad Van Cleef experiences, here's mine. Adding more fuel to the fire, once again, bad PR for Van Cleef, right? That turns a lot of people off. A lot of luxury brands like to think that they are the be-all and end-all, when in reality, there is a very competitive landscape out there. Even within fine jewellery brands, for this issue in particular, right? You've got Van Cleef. The same person who is enticed by the Van Cleef Alhambra bracelet might also be interested in a Cartier Love bracelet, or a Tiffany Lock bracelet, or, you know, a sodding Bulgari Serpenti, or the Viper, or whatever it's called, right? So you are not the only option here, right? And that is outside of, like, all of the independent fine jewellery brands and all of that. I'm talking about the big names because I don't know, I think that customer is maybe also interested in comparable big names, right? So, yeah, if you treat a customer badly, they're going to go to a competitor, right? Tiffany or Cartier, where they are given a luxury experience that they not only deserve, but expect to get when you're spending a lot of money on these pieces, regardless of how much you're spending. All it takes is one bad customer experience to turn a potential customer off. And again, this brings us back to a wider conversation about the luxury experience that is currently all over the place, right? We know that these brands are struggling. Aside from the fact that in recent years, they have really turned their focus, or how it feels, is that they've turned their focus onto the high net worth individuals, those people spending tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, pounds, whatever a year, and only they get the true luxury experience, right? When it is the aspirational customer, the person that is saving up to buy themselves a piece because a milestone is happening or whatever, that has helped prop these brands up during times like the pandemic and all of that. And inevitably, these brands will need to court the quote-unquote aspirational customer, the once-in-a-while customer or whatever, back. And one way to do that, especially when the prices are as they are, which is obviously we know that all the prices have gone up and everything else, is through providing an experience that you cannot get anywhere else. Also, taking into account the fact that a lot of these luxury items are heavily duped, are available for fractions of the price here, there, and everywhere. Why go luxury? Why spend your money on a luxury brand for the experience, for a beautiful store, for incredible packaging, for incredible customer service? And Van Cleef, in this particular situation, dropped the ball. Like I said, this is probably a very rare experience, but it is an experience that has tainted a lot of people's views of the brand because one person decided to share it on social media. The point isn't the issue that the tarnishing happened. The point is, how do you handle that situation? Because that is what sticks in customers' minds. Like I mentioned, this isn't, I'm sure that this is very much a one-off situation for Van Cleef. I saw a couple of comments throughout her series that were like, oh, I had X issue and they replaced it immediately, whatever, right? But I think it is part of a wider conversation of ensuring that every single customer is treated with respect and given a luxury experience because you are a luxury brand. How do you think Van Cleef should have handled this? I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye, guys.